Hi everyone. So I wanted to bring to you today a very gentle yoga flow to help stretch out, open up, relax, whatever this week has been for you so far, kind of undoing it and giving you an opportunity to just sort of feel what's going on in your body, appreciate that, whatever that may be. This is my first class that I'm teaching after having baby Paloma 9 weeks ago, I think. So please bear with me. It's my first class back, but I'm so glad that you're able to join me and to tune in and to take the time to tune in to your own body, to your own mind, to your own spirit, and just be for a little while. So I would love for us to start by taking a comfortable seat. I'm sitting on a folded blanket here just to give me some height, to help me sit up straight. Sometimes when we're really tight, we kind of round when we sit down. So sitting up on something gives the hips a little bit of height. And then coming to find that comfortable seat, you can sit cross-legged or soles of the feet touching and legs at a diamond, whatever's comfortable for you. Maybe propping blocks or rolled blankets under your knees if that's more comfortable. Finding those sits bones and noticing if they can be evenly rooting into the ground. And just taking a few moments here to notice the quality of your natural breath, whatever that might be right now, without judgment. Is it fast or slow, shallow, deep? Are you holding your breath? And just notice what's going on. If you're comfortable doing so, maybe closing the eyes or else taking a gentle gaze at the floor in front of you. And just noticing what sensations you might feel in the body at this time. Anywhere that's speaking to you, saying like, oh, this feels great, or, ooh, we shouldn't sit like that. And just noticing what the body is telling you. And feeling the sits bones rooted to the floor, palms gently placed on top of the legs or palms up. Start elongating the spine on the inhale, so feeling those vertebrae stack on the inhale with the crown of the head reaching towards the ceiling. Just very gentle, subtle elongation. Noticing your inhale, noticing your exhale. And then starting to deepen your breath, bringing in a Dirga Pranayama, a 3-part yoga breath that on the inhale through the nose expands the belly and the side ribs and the chest under the collarbone. And on the exhale, releases through the nose from the chest, through the side body, and the belly squeezes out the last of that breath, making space for your next fresh inhale. So maybe even placing your hands on different parts of your body, just feeling them expand with the inhale and feeling them let go with the exhale, practicing that. And allowing that exhale to be at least as long as the inhale, bringing the nervous system into a parasympathetic state or a calm state. Allowing that inhale to help you lengthen the spine. So as you inhale that air in, feeling the body grow just a little bit taller. And on the exhale, maybe asking the hips to soften a little bit. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling, maybe letting those shoulders relax a little bit. Inhaling. Exhaling, maybe the jaw releases, a little wiggle side to side, and relaxes a little bit, allowing the teeth to come apart from one another. And just following the pace, the rhythm of your own breath, elongating on the inhale, and letting go on the exhale. Maybe letting go physically, maybe letting go emotionally. Staying for a couple more breaths, noticing any sensations in the body as you sit here. And then on your next inhale, drawing the shoulders forward and squeezing them up towards the ears on the inhale. Exhaling, releasing them gently down the back. Inhaling, rolling them forward up towards the ears on the inhale, and exhale, releasing them down the back one more time. Inhaling the shoulders forward and up towards the ears. Squeeze, 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 and exhale, release them gently down the back. Noticing if you've created maybe a little bit of length. Noticing if you feel any different after just those few minutes. And on your next inhale, taking the arms out to the side, palms face up, gathering up. Exhale, flick the palms down. Reaching out long to the side, shoulders staying away from the ears. Following your own breath, inhaling to come up. Exhaling, reaching out. Maybe the fingertips graze your mat. Inhaling to come up. And as you do so, can you keep the shoulder blades away from the ears? It's tough. They want to creep up. The more we can keep them away from the ears, the more we have space in our neck. Feels good. Exhaling, flipping the palms down. One more time, inhaling them up. And this time on the exhale, taking a gentle twist. Maybe over to the left. Keeping those shoulders away from the ears. Continue inhaling to lengthen the spine. As you exhale, you let go gently into this twist. Keeping the spine long and in alignment. A twist is a safe movement. On your next inhale, coming back up to center and exhaling, taking a twist over to the other side. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to let go into the twist. One more time, inhaling to come back up to center. Exhale, folding at the hips. As far as you go is as far as you go. Release the head. Placing the hands on the floor, maybe just the fingertips. Inhaling to come up, drawing the fingers back towards the legs, switching the cross of your legs. If you've ever taken my yoga class, you know we always switch to sit the uncomfortable way, I guess. Inhaling to come up and exhaling, folding forward one more time. Release the head. Maybe shake the head no to make sure you've taken all the tension out. And on your inhale, coming back up. Leave your legs this way if you can. It's good for us to sort of mix things up and not always keep the body in the same kind of position, right? Always crossing our legs the same way, always putting one leg over the top of the other. It's good, trust me. On your inhale, draw the arms up overhead. Exhale, place one hand on the floor, shoulder away from the ear, reaching across the body, rooting down through both of those sits bones. Keeping both sides of the bottom on your support or on your mat. Feeling that stretch through the side body. This is great for helping to open up those breathing muscles. Inhaling to come up, and on your exhale, switch sides, keeping that shoulder away from the ear. Maybe placing a bend in the elbow, that arm that's reaching down towards the ground. Reaching across the other side of your room or your yard or wherever you're practicing. And on your inhale, coming up one more time to each side. Exhale and release gently over to one side. Really feeling the fingertips moving towards that wall or that space as that hip stays rooted down. Inhaling to come up and exhaling other side. Making space in the side body, stretching the fascia. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, release the arms. One more time, inhaling the arms up overhead, bringing the palms together, exhaling them down to heart center. Nice. Okay, coming down off your support, we'll go into a little bit of cat and cow. So if you have sensitive knees, you can even leave a sort of flat blanket to place your knees on. You don't want it to be too big, too thick. Okay. So taking the knees under the hips, the hands under the shoulders, or a little bit further forward if your wrists are really sensitive. Just stay here for a moment and see if you can feel that elongation, right? All the way from the tailbone through the crown of the head. Can that crown of the head reach towards whatever is in front of you? A wall, a tree, a sofa, whatever might be in front of you. And then on your next inhale, allowing the tailbone to lift, belly to drop, shoulder blades move towards one another, and head lifts, cow. On the exhale, dropping the tailbone, pressing into the hands, rounding the spine, head follows last. Following your own breath, but can you start with the tailbone and create this wave of movement through the spine, where the head goes last. Inhaling, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the head. Exhale, drop the tailbone, press into the hands to round the spine, head drops. A few more times with your own breath, inhaling to come to cow, and exhaling, coming to cat. Notice in your cow pose, as you inhale, the shoulder blades can move towards each other on the back, which opens up the chest. And as you press into the hands in cat, you get a nice stretch between the shoulder blades on the back. One more cat and cow at your own pace. And after our next cat, we'll meet in a flat back. Taking your left leg back behind you. Let's see if I need to move here. Can you press into that heel a little bit, flexing that foot, toes are on the floor. Give yourself a little rock back and forth. Feel the space behind the knee, the hamstring, the calf muscle. If you've been sitting a lot, these are probably tight. Taking a deep inhale, can you allow that foot to float just a couple of inches up off the mat? Hold it here as you press that flexed foot, press that heel towards the back wall. And on your next exhale, release the knee down. Inhale the right leg back. Once again, just giving a little rock back and forth. You can get a little extra core work here if you draw in through the abdominals as you do this. Coming back to stable position. On your inhale, can that foot float just a couple inches, no higher than the hip? Keeping that extension in the spine. Pressing that heel towards the back wall. And on your next exhale, bringing the knee back, maybe even dropping the hips side to side. I'll show you here how that goes. Dropping the hips side to side like this. Bringing the knees together if that's available to you. If it's not, taking them apart, that's okay. Getting into anything that's tight, from sitting at a desk, from exercising, from driving. And we hold a lot of stress in our hips as well. So maybe giving a little press back. Noticing what feels good to you and noticing if one side feels different than the other. Coming back to our flat back. Stepping back through that left foot, drawing in through the core, in through the abdominals. Maybe you can step back with the right, coming into a plank. If this is too much, place the knees down on the floor. Modified plank. Notice the abdominal work that you get here in a nice, safe pose. On your next exhale, allow the hips to shift back. Maybe knees even open if that feels good for you. Child's pose. Release the head. Forehead touches the floor. Keeping those arms active, reaching in front of you. Notice if you feel a stretch in the upper back, maybe even in the side body under the armpits. Keep those hips moving towards the back, forehead on the floor or on a block. And on your next inhale, shifting the weight forward. Taking the hands underneath the shoulders if they're not. Curling your toes under, drawing in through that core. Coming up into a bent knee downward dog. So keeping your knees bent, really drawing those hips high. Release the head. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then bringing the knees back down to the floor. How was that? How was that first down dog? Good? Okay. Taking a deep inhale, drawing that left leg back, keeping those toes flexed on the floor. Finding that extension again. On your next exhale, drawing that left foot forward. So however it needs to get there, maybe it drags through the middle and you put it there with your hand. As long as it gets there, it's all good. If you have blocks, maybe bringing them in at this point so that you have something to put your hands on. Noticing if you can be sort of at a diagonal on that back knee. That way you're not too squarely on the kneecap. And then coming up gently, maybe the hands come up to the knee. And on an inhale, arms come up overhead. Pressing the pelvis forward just a little bit, getting a stretch in that right hip flexor, that front part of the hip on the right side. Really stepping into that left foot to help hold you steady in this pose. If this is too much, maybe the hands are on the hips. Maybe they stay on the blocks. Noticing what works for you today. Deep inhales, elongating that spine. Exhales, release the shoulders down the back if the arms are up. And on your next exhale, bringing the hands back down to the blocks. Inhaling to straighten the front leg. Exhaling to bend into the knee. Following your own breath, you can even walk your blocks back with you and walk them back up. Sometimes maybe lift the toes, notice what's going on in the plantar of the foot, the hamstring, all that good stuff. And sometimes keeping the front of the foot, keeping the toes down, so that you can maybe feel a stretch to the front of the ankle and the top of the foot. Noticing what's going on in your body. One more stretch back. I'll take my toes up. Coming back to a crescent lunge, whatever that looks like for you today. And then releasing the hands down to the blocks. I need to do that to bring my leg back these days. Taking the hands back down to the floor. And inhaling to extend through that right leg. Toes on the floor, heel reaching towards the back wall, finding that extension in the spine. Breathing, right? We're breathing. And on an exhale, drawing that right foot forward. So my hips are not as cooperative postpartum as I'm used to them being. go with it, right? That's where I am right now. Pressing that pelvis forward, finding the balance. Maybe bringing the hands to the knee to give you a chance to really step into that right foot to hold you up. Feeling that extension in the left hip flexor. And maybe arms come up on an inhale. Exhale the shoulder blades down the back. Pressing the pelvis forward, stepping into that right foot to help hold you up. Finding the breath here. And on your next exhale, bringing the hands down. Inhaling to straighten the front leg. And exhaling to bend. So as we inhale, maybe we lift the toes, feel through the plantar and the hamstring. Or maybe we keep the toes down. Noticing what's going on in the front ankle and the top of the foot. But also, as we bend, noticing that opposite hip flexor getting a little bit of stretch. So that is the opposite motion of sitting, right? That's why it's so good for us, because we spend so much time sitting. We have to do the opposite thing too. One more time on the inhale, coming back. Exhale, coming forward. Gently taking the hands off the blocks if you have them. Placing the hands on the knee till you get your balance. Maybe arms come up overhead one more time, pressing that pelvis forward. And on an exhale, coming back down. Bringing that knee back. Hands come to the floor. Maybe the knees come together. And drop the hips side to side. Still breathing those deep inhales and deep exhales. Taking the knees about 2 fists distance apart. Spreading the fingers, curling the toes under, drawing in through the core, coming up, downward facing dog. Maybe straightening one leg and bending the other. Release the head. Nice. Finding your downward facing dog, and then walking the hands back towards the feet. I'm not in a good position for that. And slowly, 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 slowly coming up to stand. Face coming up last. Move my blanket here. Move it out of the way a little bit. Okay. So coming to stand in mountain pose. Feet are parallel, toes facing forward. Legs are really strong. You're feeling really grounded, drawing that energy up through the legs, through the pelvis, through the core. Taking the shoulders down the back. Releasing the palms to face forward, external rotation on the arms. Inhaling, lengthen the spine. Exhaling, let go into the pose. On your next inhale, arms come up overhead, reaching. Exhale, hinge at the hips, taking the arms out to the side, all the way down. Inhaling, coming back up, arms come up overhead. Exhale, palms to heart center. Inhaling, arms come up past the face. Exhale, spread your wings, diving down. Inhaling, arms come out to the side, all the way up to the top. And exhaling to heart center. Let me try that a couple more times. Ready? Inhaling, hands come past the face. Exhale, spread the wings, hinge at the hips, coming down through flat back. Inhaling, arms come out to the side, up through flat back. Palms come to reach over top of the head. Exhale, to heart center. One more time. Inhaling. Exhale, dive. Inhale, reverse that dive. Exhale, palms come to heart center. We're gonna do half of one to get us back down. Inhaling, up to the top. Exhale, dive down. Pause here, still breathing. If you have blocks, maybe place one in front of you. Maybe even taking the feet a little bit apart. Bending into one leg, straightening the other. Release the head like this. And then taking the feet wide, maybe pointing the toes out at 45 degrees. Can you come down into a squat? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. That's okay. We're gonna meet seated on our mat anyways. So if this isn't available to you, have a seat on the mat, and we are going to meet there in 3, 2, 1. Coming down to sit on your mat. Feel a little bit stretched out, a little bit relaxed, I hope. All right, so we're gonna take a modified boat pose. So coming to sit with the soles of your feet on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling, drawing the legs together as much as you can, or keeping your feet about 1 fist apart and keeping the same distance throughout the whole leg. Notice if you can find that spot where you're like between the tailbone and the sits bones. You can lengthen the spine, maybe bringing the hands behind the knees. Really find that length in the spine all the way from the tailbone through the crown of the head. Drawing that core in. Maybe you can lift one leg, place it down. Maybe you can lift the other leg, place it down. Did you lose that length in the spine? That's really where the work is to keep that spine long. So don't worry about what the feet do. Maybe one can come up and the other, you'll tip back a little bit. That's okay. Maybe they can do that. Maybe you can let go with one arm and the other. Maybe the legs can straighten, maybe not. And then bringing it back down. Finding the length in the spine one more time. This time taking one hand away and the other. Notice the work here. It's not that easy to sit like this. Now, maybe one leg comes up, and maybe the other one comes up. I don't know, do they? And then maybe they straighten. Okay, and release it down. Coming down to lie on your back. I'll talk you through this and then I'll demo it. So coming down to lie on your back. Legs are in the same position. So soles of the feet on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling. If you have a yoga block, should have said that before. Maybe you can grab it and place it next to you. All right, I'll show you. So bringing the feet sort of close to the bottom, to your bottom. I'll put my block over here for a moment. And feeling those feet really grounded, really planted into the earth. Bring the hands to the floor, palms facing down. Notice what happens when you press into those hands. Feel that chest open, broaden. Nice, right? Taking a deep inhale as you lie here. On the exhale, press into your feet and allow the hips to lift. Inhale, release the hips down towards the earth. Keeping the neck long, maybe a little tuck in the chin as you exhale to lift. Maybe a little higher this time. Inhale, allow the hips to come down. Following your own breath, exhaling to lift and inhaling to come down. With control, can you take the whole length of the exhale to reach whatever is the top for you, and the whole length of the inhale to bring the hips back down. Try not to let the knees splay out to the side as you inhale to lift. Feel the thighs moving towards each other. And the next time you exhale to lift, maybe you want to hold here at the top. Maybe if it's in your practice, you want to roll one shoulder under and the other shoulder under and clasp the hands. Allow the knuckles to move towards the floor. Maybe not. Maybe your hands stay on the floor, but the fingertips reach towards those heels. On your next inhale, gently lift the heels. Allow that tailbone to reach towards the heels as the whole back comes down to the floor. And draw the knees in. Give a little rock side to side. Nice. Placing the soles of the feet back down on the floor. Press into your right foot to come over onto your left hip. Did you see that? Press more into your right foot to lift your whole body and come over onto your left hip. This keeps you in better alignment than just twisting your legs to one side. Straightening the left leg, maybe allow that right knee to draw across the body. Arms can come out into a T. And if you want to take the face in the opposite direction, first lift the head and then turn. Doing all of this, lifting and moving, keeps the spine in good, safe alignment. Reaching through your left leg, flex that left foot, press the heel towards the wall. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat, on the floor. And cooling the body down. Use your exhale to help let go. Allow gravity to sort of let the body settle in. We're not really working here. Maybe let go of the flex on that left foot. On your next inhale, allowing the body to come back to center. Step into that right foot to shift the hips back so you're laying flat on the pelvis. And then drawing the left knee in. Extending the right leg long. Step into that left foot to lift the hips and come over onto the right. And then allowing that left knee to drop across. You want to have the face look in the opposite direction of the knee. Lift the head a little bit to clear the hair. And then allow the face to shine towards the left. Finding the extension in the spine by keeping the spine in alignment. Breathing into the sensations you feel. And on an inhale, allowing that left knee to come back, left foot to the floor, press into that foot, bringing the hips back so you're lying flat on the floor. Maybe draw those knees in and give yourself a little rock, a little massage on the sacrum. And then I'm going to come up, but you stay flat on the floor. I'm going to talk you through a brief Shavasana. So Shavasana is like the yummiest part of class. You've done the work. Doesn't matter if it was a gentle class or a power class or a restorative class, doesn't matter. You've done the work, now you get to relax and allow everything to melt into the floor. So if you're comfortable lying flat on your back, You can do so, palms facing up as the arms are along your sides. If that puts a little bit of strain on your low back, maybe take a rolled blanket and place it under your knees. If you're not able to lay flat on your back and you need to be propped up, use a bolster, some folded blankets, and allow the spine to lie right against them. I'll do another video about sort of how to set yourself up for Shavasana when you're propped up. It's good for prenatal yoga, if you have allergies or you have like some respiratory stuff going on. Allow your eyes to close. Try to block out any extraneous noise. Coming into your breath, feeling the rise of the belly on the inhale and the fall of the belly on the exhale. Allowing your toes to feel as if they're floating away from your feet. The feet to drop off to either side. Knees dripping down heavy through your mat. Thighs heavy. Pelvis, buttocks, and low back all supported by the earth and by your practice. Belly soft, chest broad, back heavier and heavier and heavier. Coming down through your mat, through the floor, through the earth beneath you. Arms rolling back, opening up. The elbows are soft. Fingers floating away from the hands. Throat is soft, teeth broad, and tongue heavy in the mouth. Outer corners of the lips, the cheeks, ears, outsides of the eyes falling off to either side of the head. Eyes rolling back. Forehead smooth and unworried. And any remaining tension, concern, or thought that you don't want to carry with you through the rest of your day, the rest of your week, month, year, life, leaves you and floats away on your next exhale as you rest. Stay in your Shavasana for as long as your life permits. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.